been sitting in a bag. We keep them out of the light spectrum of blue light, which also comes in the sunlight. These lights here aren't going to affect it today, but we still have filters to do to make sure that the liner does what we expect it to. And with light cure, we take the anxiety of lining out of it. And what do I mean by that? Once it's in the drum and it's set, the only thing it's going to cause this to cure is that light spectrum. So if you get it in a 45 or 90, you're having a tough time making the turn, no problem. And our trainers that we have, like Davey and TJ here, we travel the country around job sites making sure you're successful. So guys, let's invert this liner. So they got it up on our spindle, and we work as a team as we train. And one of the things we do at Hammerhead University is we really take you through it. So Davey's pressurizing the liner. TJ's going to manage it as it goes into the pipe. So as he's got it moving, he's got the liner moving already. Now, step back over here. We're going to blow a baby shoot off this. Boom, there it comes. We've opened the liner up. The pressure dropped. Nothing wrong with that. We're going to use a Cal tube, and we're going to use it like a balloon. And they're going to swap it out right now. Davey's opening the drum, depressurize it so it's safe with our quick lock drum, which is our patented drum mechanism there. TJ has taken the drum, took the liner off. He snipped it so we can get it around our nozzle, and they're going to use this stick and they're going to push our Cal tube on. The Cal tube was already wrapped on our spindle. For those of you who are used to fishing, if you haven't seen inversion, it's just like the thread on a spindle for your fishing reel. It goes back and forth, and these guys have loaded it. TJ is now taking it and cuffed it around the nozzle, and then he's going to put clamps on there and hold it tight. We don't want it to come off. This is going to press the liner with the resin in it into the imperfections of the pipe and create a fingerprint of the pipe is the best way I like to describe it. So he's taking the clamps, he's going to tighten them down on there and make sure they're nice and secure. One of the things that we always do in our training is make sure that we have a repeatable, scalable, and sustainable method to everything that we do in this process. So when these guys are in the field, they train the same way every single time. Even though there are variables on the job site that are slightly different, the process still remains the same. So now they're going to get it up to that 12 inches away with the nozzle. Guys, we ready to go? All right, pressure is open, and here we're going to go start airing up our drum again. And we're going to move the calibration tube, and they're going to go slow with it. We do not want to go fast. We want to make sure we press the liner and the resin into the pipe itself and slowly move it. You watch what Davey's doing. He's using his leg as a brake. His leg is slowing it down and slowly rolling the Cal tube out there. And it's going to move all the way through the pipe and go to the end. A lot of times what happens, your jobs are always different. So on site, we are measuring twice, we're only cutting once. You hear that analogy quite a bit. We live that every single day when we're teaching lining in the field. He's watching the pressure, he's taking it slow, and he's going to get it eventually out there, and the whole Cal tube is going to pull out, and when he can watch what's going on. Now, TJ's got the blue light system. TJ, show us the screen there for us. Every one of our blue lights has an integrated camera in it. So currently the camera and the light head's in the what we call the side entrance. It's sitting in there and it's waiting. The great thing is, as Davey gets this out there, they've already got the light head tested and cleaned it. That's a big deal. Cleaning and maintenance of your light head is extremely important. You need to make sure you don't rub your fingers on it or things of this nature. Think about if you got the window on your oven and you get oils or anything for cooking gets in there, what happens? It browns it. LEDs are the same way. Any type of UV or light, like room light, it's the same thing. You don't want the glass to get any oils or anything on it. So we clean every time, each and every time. The light head's cleaned with rubbing alcohol, and we make sure it's perfect every time. No fingerprints, no nothing. Once we're in place, he's getting it set, locks it in, and we're looking good, boys?
Looking good.
So at this point, normally what we'll do, and Davey, why don't you touch the screen and show us what dwell time looks like. We're going to deploy the light head as they're shifting air. And one of the things that we do is we'll deploy the light head, and then we're going to hit what we call a 10-minute dwell time. Why do we do that? We want the liner with the Cal tube to sit in place and stretch and fill in those imperfections. So as they got the liner in place, go ahead and start deploying it. There you go, deploy the light head. Here we go. They're going to push it on out. and you can see it as he's going. So what's happening is we have the ability to move the screen either to front where TJ is, or we have it backward, and so we're allowing so everyone can see it. He's doing slow pushes forward. It's like a sewer camera, everybody, but let's be honest. Air is going through that white PEX tube you see there when we're in the curing process. We don't want to over push it too fast. You can bend your PEX. It's not as resilient as a camera cable, but it deploys all the optics you need as well as your air. It's very important. This is the nerve, the umbilical, so to speak, of this system. Take your time. There is no rush. Think about what I said earlier. The anxiety of lining has been taken out of the equation. There's many people standing here today that already have a blue light system. They can tell you how it's taken that out when you're not mixing parts. So we get it in place, and as I said before, we're gonna let it 12 for 10. Not today, because we got a demo and we want you all to see what happens. So we gotta it's kind of like cooking in those cooking shows. You put the one thing in the oven, you pull it out. Well, we're gonna cook this right now. So, are we ready to cure this, guys? Dave, are you ready? All right, so everyone, here's the thing I'm gonna tell you. So we gotta stay back. That's why we have you in the spot. We're gonna activate the blue light. It's gonna kick in. It's kind of like looking at the sun, everybody. Don't stare at the sun, but you can see it actively. We're gonna give you what we call the blue light effect. So, you got it. So what'll happen is they're gonna activate the light head, and it's got 12 banks. They're in sequence, so it's like 12 noon, 6 o'clock. It rotates around. The light activates, it's heating up, it's all full. Then what's gonna happen is the computer system takes over. You don't have to think. We put in the diameter, we put in the mill thickness, we put in the distance. The computer does the work for you. It will not allow you to go too fast. If you go too fast on other systems, it won't cure. The resin won't cure. We can guarantee you a 99% or better cure rate. So that percentage right there, that's been tested with third parties, is unheard of. And you can get samples on your job site. If a plumbing inspector or a municipality asks for it, you can create the exact same sample at your invert, whether that's clean out, whether that's if someone's going manhole to manhole, you have the ability to create samples and provide that. And they can test it for porosity, which is making sure it's watertight, as well as meeting the ASTM standards of F1216. Very important to have that feature. Now today, as we're doing this is gonna take 6 minutes. That's pretty fast. We're gonna create pipe, standing right here, in roughly 6 minutes. So as the light is moving through here, obviously it was going through the white light. You can see it right here as it's moving, and it's pulling it through. Now, our computer system here is smart technology. What do I mean by that? We plug it into an electric outlet. Today we're just plugging into a 15 amp service. The system knows that it only gets so much power. Therefore, it can only go at such a high rate. Our two smaller heads, because we have 3 heads total, our 144 system, which is sitting back here, I believe one of these drums, is a smaller light head. That roughly does 3-inch elbows and bends, as well as 4-inch. Okay, so that's got that. We can change out the drums in a matter of 45 seconds. So you go from one light head size to another. We have our 336 light head, which is probably the bread and butter of what most of our installers have today. It can do straight shots in 3. It can do 4-inch bends, 4-inch straight. It can do 6-inch, and that's pretty good. Today, this is our big light head. This is our 696. This one can go all the way up to 10-inch, and it cures very quickly in 4, as you're seeing right now. Look how fast that's moving. So it's exothermia, it's kicking through here, and it takes about 45 seconds to go from a liquid to a solid. So we're changing the states of this resin and turning it from a liquid into a solid. And that's how fast. If you think about this, if you're a customer of yours, if you don't want that sewer down for a long period of time, you have the ability to create pipe that quickly. Very unique, very fast. But the intensity of this and the wavelength of light with this resin, coupled with our liner, we test everything together. All the testing that you see if you come and visit us at our booth, it's all coupled together. The ICCS testing, which is one of the labs we use for plumbing code on the IPC, as well as IATMO, who's here at the show today, which is the UPC code. These are all tested to every single year, multiple times. Obviously, NSF is one of the labs we use, and we meet those standards. But this here, with the ASTMs that are out there today, this exceeds those parameters that are in those standards. So as you see, you're getting what we call the blue light effect. It's pulling back. One thing that TJ's been doing the whole time that you haven't noticed is he's wiping off the packs. What is he doing? It's about maintenance. We use mineral oil, not anything else. No soap, no vegetable oil, nothing that has a color. This is a food-grade clear mineral oil that doesn't burn and brown. Again, it's about protecting your system. It's about protecting the whole thing as it goes, and that's a food-grade product. So as he's wiping the packs out, because it's got mineral oil that we use to invert the liner, it's like the lubricant, we're able to go through here and he's slowly cleaning it up and pulling it in place. The drum that you see there today that we're using is our 225 drum that holds roughly 225 feet of 4-inch. Very versatile drum. We do have a smaller model that can go into tighter confined spaces when you need it. That's our 125. Roughly the numbers are smart part numbers. 125 feet of 4-inch liner can go in there. I know the guys have found ways to get it in, or even a little bit more liner when needed, but really unique. One of the best features of that drum is our patented quick lock drum door. So before there was always a lot of knobs. Hammerhead brought that to the market several years ago, and we can open and close the drum in a matter of seconds. When you're working with epoxy systems, that's very important, but with blue light, you don't have to worry. As I said before, we're taking the anxiety out of CIPP because this resin doesn't cure, it doesn't go through any state change until that light head activates. The guys are getting close to finishing up. I think we're there. And there we have it. We've cured a big chunk of pipe. We'll have the samples out there later on to show everyone. If you have questions, you want to touch the screen and experience blue light, we have a system over here. We'll have people help you with that. The guys are over here, Davey and TJ, to answer questions. I'm here as well. Anyone else with a Hammerhead shirt will be happy to talk with you. Please enjoy the 2023 Wet Show. If you get a chance, head over to the Hammerhead booth, get a quote. Find out if this is a feature or a product that meets your business's needs, both short-term and long-term. Thank you very much and enjoy the Wet Show.